Hey, how's it going? Thanks for checking out this video. I'm the founder and CEO of Adamant Media. My name's Scott Caputo, and today I'm going to be quickly going over our three-pillar strategy that's put us in the top 1% of the digital marketing industry in terms of performance. So just to kind of give some context, we have done a lot of work and there's plenty beyond this as well. These are just some examples. Obviously, I'm in the way of plenty of them, but anyway, so first, I think what needs to always be addressed when you're considering these types of things is why do businesses fail? And then that kind of lets you look at successful businesses and essentially reverse engineer back and kind of see how that can be imposed or implemented and integrated into your business. So, why do 95% of businesses fail digital marketing? The first clear one is always lack of proper campaign structure. We come across tons of businesses and brands that we start working with that aren't even running campaigns for the right purposes. They may not even be running for conversions. They might be running for general traffic, engagement improperly. And this can even be at the middle of funnel or bottom of funnel. The other part is obviously what I just mentioned. Some businesses lack even understanding where a funnel is. We've taken on plenty of clients that when we get inside and look under the hood, they're only running top of funnel traffic. So they're struggling to go positive and keep a real ROI when they're reaching out to every single person that they reach, and it's the first time every single one of them see the brand. So they're never actually taking advantage of what digital marketing has to offer. The next one is always going to be super, super important, and that's unfocused business goals. And that will always result in disorganized marketing. Having a singular line of focus, meaning you know what your goals are clearly. You're not widespread. You're not jumping around in a million niches. You're not, constantly changing where your product market fit might be. And then taking that focus and omnidirectionally scaling that in terms of your presence online. That's what creates a predictable and scalable marketing system. The next one is in lack of an understanding of their customer lifecycle. So as I kind of mentioned in that campaign structure, by far the most powerful part of digital marketing is that with data, you are able to actually reach your customers at every stage of the life cycle, from literally just learning about your brand at the top of funnel to having some engagement and being able to give them some more informational context or testimonials at the middle of funnel, to giving them special offers at the bottom of funnel, to reaching them again and having them re-engage with your brand and be a return customer because you're able to reach them after they've purchased as well. Understanding that and understanding where your customers are existing, what platforms are they on, email, are they on SMS, things like that, is so, so powerful for digital marketing. And there's just not enough brands that know how to use it. The last thing is definitely going to be misinformed timeframe expectations. So we get brands that sometimes think that having literally no ads running, that they're going to jump up and ramp up to something ridiculous in a month. And others think that it's going to take, 10 years to get 6 figures per month, something crazy. Obviously the latter is always a better problem for us because it'll be very easy for us to impress them. But at the end of the day, understanding what it takes to cultivate the audiences and grow your brand and begin to grow omnidirectionally where you expand into multiple platforms. While it's different for every brand, it's not a get rich quick scheme by any means, and it takes a lot of work to cultivate an audience and drive awareness and drive traffic and track a lot of statistics and kind of get you there. So, we always tell our clients to expect something in the space of around 3 months before you see ridiculous results, but you'll see some tangible results literally within the first 2 weeks to 30 days. Absolutely. So anyway, those are just definitely some of the biggest reasons that we see businesses are not succeeding and have become just common pain points in the field. So the first pillar to our three-pillar process is going to be in data tracking, aggregation, and analysis. So I always like to say, what makes data and marketing so important that I would get a master's degree for it. So for context, I actually have a master's in data science and chemical engineering, and I've done work in machine learning engineering, artificial intelligence, software engineering. Like, I've done a lot with data and I've done a lot with tracking before stepping into marketing. And so I understand how powerful it is, but I also know how to help our customers get more of it and then properly utilize it to move forward faster. And so below I just have a small graphic that kind of explains a bit of a flow of where we even see these things go. So at the heart of every single one of your ads is a machine learning model. When you're paying money and it's bidding to be shown in front of people, that data is to train your machine learning model. Whenever your ads say they're in a learning phase or they're in one of those phases where they're testing, exploratory, that's your machine learning model learning. That's what that's doing. And behind that, what is it learning with? Data. And that is data science. At the heart of that is the data being used to make inferences by your machine learning model. And that is what paid advertising is. It's not just a guessing game. It's not just about how pretty the content is. It's data science and machine learning that you're playing with, and you have to understand how to use it correctly. And so in this current industry, there's not a lot of data tracked very well. So it's a bit of a problem. Fortunately, we have solutions to that in our agency, but it's worth understanding how it can be used in general. The first point I mentioned here is iteration-based progression, and that's simply because when we allow our clients in our agency to get more data and track more data off of every event being used and being made, it's so much quicker and so much easier to make decisions on how to change in each iteration and how to improve the campaigns. And that's why I say it's exponentially faster growth, because when we're getting 10, 20, 30 times more data than the average company is in the industry, we can make so much more well-informed decisions on everything we do. And it's so powerful. And of course, because you have more data, that's where I say machine learning model effectiveness is drastically increased, which is obviously the point of all this. And so when you run your ad, you pay to win a bid for ad placement. You acquire the data to use in the next iteration, obviously. And when you learn how to use data, like some of our bigger clients do, and what we do with them is we set them up in things like CDPs, which you may not even have heard about, but it's a great way to aggregate data and help distribute them to multiple channels when you're ready to expand into multiple channels. We help with third-party resolution, so we have an in-house database of over 1 trillion data points that helps us and our clients track like considerably more data. Yeah, I mean, that's where we get 20, 30 times more data than the average person in the industry does. And lastly, if you have a programmer in-house, or if you know how to do it, or if you need us to do it, you can use first-party data and API tracking, which is something you can set up with each one of your ad platforms as well, which is extremely powerful when you're ready for it. The next pillar is going to be scalable content. Just move myself. So scalable content creation. The question I always give people who are and not sure if they're doing it well is, are you consistently creating more than 20 pieces of content per month? If you're not, and if the content's not performing well, then that's obviously its own problem because you're not making the good content each month. Is it fitted to your ideal audience? Does it exhibit multiple products, or are you just spamming one product? You put with one creator, you get a ton of pieces that are pretty much the same, and you just keep posting all those. Does it engage your community? Are you getting actual engagement? What are the conversions on it? Things like that. What kind of data are you tracking from the results of this and the performance of these creatives? And lastly, although this kind of summarizes all the other points, but is it replicable and recyclable? Like, can you do it again? Can you later use the content again? Here at our agency, we have a decently large network now. I mean, we have over 1,000 creators that we have kind of stored in our database. We understand their niche, we have their portfolios, they're vetted, we can constantly rely on them. And we have such a wide variety of niches now that whoever comes to us in e-commerce or in tech or something like that, we have creators who can make extremely valuable content for them and we can use them for creatives, as in for the ads. We can use them for organic posting, and it just helps you guys in every direction. Now that can go on Instagram, TikTok, your ads, Facebook, wherever you need it. And it's so powerful. But the most powerful part is definitely the number. If you only have 1 or 2 a month, it's going to be really hard to do any real testing. But with this in place, we can get 15, 20, 30 pieces of content when we need. We can even go higher as we scale with everyone. Like our clients, we have some looking for 50 pieces of content a month. This is what allows it. We understand, we work with these people, we work with these creators, we know how to get them. So we have different hooks in the beginning. We can test different copy with it. So we can build out different videos. We know how to catch people's attention. We know the right call to actions, things like that. And we're comfortable working with them. But if it's something you need to do on your own, then so be it. But keep in mind that, you should be able to consistently and predictably produce a decently large amount of content. So if you really wanted, you could post just about every day while having a number of creatives to use for paid ads. So the next thing, and the third pillar, the third and final pillar, is definitely the factor of just data-driven paid marketing strategies, which is sort of what encapsulates the first 2 pillars and puts them into place and allows the third pillar to be so effective. But at the end of the day, paid marketing is systematic and predictable when and if done correctly. You get reliable data, which is obviously in pillar 1, and you get high quality content, which is in pillar 2. And using that with an understanding of your avatar and your product market fit in general, you can use scalable strategies to very quickly ramp this up. It makes every single dollar you spend more effective and more informative because you're getting more data from it, but you're also using the right strategy to scale effectively. You're not spreading yourself on a million things. You're not trying a million things at once. You've already gotten your focus as a business. In doing that, you can have a much more organized funnel, like I exemplified here, as well as campaign structures in general, because you will be able to experimentally and systematically test these things because you've laid out the creatives, you've laid out the data, and you've laid out your campaigns in such a way that you can test any one thing, any one variable at any time you want, understanding if it's working or if it isn't, turn off what isn't, scale what is. And that's really all there is to it. I mean, it's these 3 pillars are what we see in the multiple 8-figure businesses we work with, the multiple 7-figure businesses. They have these at the heart, at the core of their systems are these 3 pillars. I mean, there's obviously other things that go hand in hand with this, like you can have email and SMS, you can have natural PR, you can have huge organic presence and all these things. But most of those are dependent on these 3 pillars, because if you don't have data, you can't implement most of them. If you don't have content, you can't use half of them. If you don't have real strategies for your paid marketing, you're not going to reach enough people to drive into your ecosystem to get all those other results. You just won't be able to do those other things if you don't take care of these 3 pillars correctly. As I showed you earlier, we have some case studies. We have plenty of them showing that we know exactly what we're doing when it comes to this. So if this is something you're interested in exploring, then you're in the right place. Obviously, you can reach out to us. But like I said, unity drives growth. And realistically, no one pillar will succeed without another. You can get a ton of data, but if you're not plugging it into something, then it's not being used. You can get a bunch of content, but if you're not learning how to predictably make these things successful and understanding which ones are and which ones aren't successful, then you won't know what to use. And if you're not showing them to the right people, then you're making content for nothing and you're getting data for nothing because you're not delivering it to the right ideal audiences, which is exactly what you can do with paid traffic. There's just no other way than this combination of 3 pillars to properly leverage tracking data with extremely good content that converts and putting it in front of the exact ideal audiences at every stage of the funnel until they buy and after they buy. There's just no other way. At the end of the day, as I mentioned here, the biggest perks are you're going to get higher profitability margins because you'll be able to get a higher ROI on every dollar you're spending. You're going to get omnidirectional presence because you'll be able to expand onto multiple platforms as you get success and you find exactly where your audience is. It leaves you extremely flexible because being able to track more data will let you make decisions with more informed decisions, and you can make them faster. Lastly, you won't be dependent on any one platform because you never have to worry once you're omnidirectionally scaling. If Facebook goes down tomorrow or TikTok shuts down, you'll have other platforms that you can continue to scale those channels without having your business be crippled and losing all your purchases. And those combined, leave you always ready for new opportunities. There's things like Web3 coming up. There's a lot of new updates in the world of marketing in general. And if you don't even have these well established, you won't be able to step into new things because you won't be able to take huge risks. And it will feel like a risk because you won't have anything that makes these risks into opportunities. You'll just be constantly fighting to stay afloat, potentially scaling a little bit, but these kind of take care of that. So yeah, the last thing is, I assume you know the answer when you get this far into the presentation, but the question of when you should start, which I get a lot, is typically, when should you start? When should I get involved? Should I wait for this to happen? I have a bell curve on mine. Should I wait for sales to go up? And honestly, my answer is always, even if it wasn't with us, digital marketing is constantly changing. You can see that from the explosion of TikTok, all the changes in ads, the constant updates, and all the new regulations. Digital marketing is constantly changing, and without a doubt, the best time to start is always now. At the very least, you can start aggregating data. You can start figuring out exactly where your audience exists, exactly what they want to see, and how to start scaling, so you're always prepared for another update. If you have any questions, or you're looking just to get more involved and hop right on a call, you can message me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. I'm on all of them. Or you can email me right here, and it'll go right to me, and I'll be sure to answer you. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. And like I said, if you have any questions, send them my way. Otherwise, thanks for checking it out. Have a good one.